The link has been pinned in the chat. In the meantime, Gibbs, if you'd like to give us your closing statement, please.
Yeah. First, I want to thank Sarah for moderating and Bake Thorth. Yeah, I'm a little more concerned about Sarah's understanding of conservatism now after that court packing comment, but that's okay. We'll get past it. Once again, thank you, Thorth, for coming in, standing on 2 feet and defending your point of view. Although he did it egregiously poorly. We love our people that try, but that's what you do is you just do your best. And in the immortal words of Sean Connery, if you're gonna just do your best, that's what losers do. The rest of us winners, we go home and fuck the prom queen. And this is the case of that. I have used numerous, almost innumerable at this point, examples of history. And every single time I've used examples of history, it shows a trend, a norm, a institutional goal, a substantive thing you can point to. Every single time North has tried to use history, which is only about 5 times total, I've shown over and over again that it's mitigating factors, or he didn't really understand what he was pushing. He asked me if I knew what the Monroe Doctrine was, and then he can't understand how the Monroe Doctrine is a continuation and a modern version of this. North, I encourage you to go watch my show on Sarah's here on Fortress America and the Monroe Doctrine. This articulates what this is in depth, and it's a better example. If you want to look it up, you can look up the Greater North American Plan. There's multiple professors that are pushing this forward. This is a continuation of the Monroe Doctrine to its fullest extent. We want to talk about policy. We talked about immigration. What did we propose? He proposed giving amnesty to the parents if their kids somehow got here, doesn't care. And this is under our current laws. Even in his hypothetical, he was still willing to do it. This is not conservatism. He got mad whenever we talked about the societal norm, the North American norm, the United States norm of where the president puts forth an executive order that challenges rulings, challenges their constitutional authority, and then the court has to step in. This is a norm set by every president thus far in history, except for the ones that died before they could do it. And if guess what, Lordy, I bet they're looking down from heaven going, God damn it, I wish I did that when I was there. I just didn't have enough time. We can see this over and over happening. He sits here and he wants to talk about American shipbuilding being bad. Well, one of the things that devastated American shipbuilding was 1981 Subsidy Act in regards to shipbuilding. And we talked about that. He says he doesn't like subsidies. Hey, guess what? The Jones Act didn't seem to slow us down during World War II. And guess what? In fact, this part of the reason we got out of the Great Depression, which part of the Jones Act was causing the Great Depression, was, Lordy, it was mass ship production, maybe some of the greatest ever. And guess what? There is a reason why we want it all done in America, because of national security. It is a national security threat. If we can't grow our own food, if we can't produce our own ships, if we can't control the power to go throw shit into space, if we can't sit here and defend our borders, this is what he wants. He wants us to bow down to some neoliberal world order where America defends the world and they milk us dry. It's egregious. It's outrageous. I want to point out that his great example of American nation building in the modern history was, the failure that is the Iraqi government and how they're subservient to Shia militias in Iran. It is crazy, all these points. We could go through the history and we can show that I've given historical examples that prove what I'm pushing is historically based, is conservatism. It's not reactionary. He keeps calling reactionary, and then he keeps saying, it was imagine. I noticed throughout the debate, he said imagine. Now at the end, he stopped using imagine because we've had a history lesson, and he knows what I'm saying is the true history, and now he has to push the narrative that it's reactionary, and we are going back to a history that was before liberalism. Good. I'm glad that we're going back to a history before this. FDR is the creator of a lot of the biggest problems in America today. And in fact, even though he's the biggest creator of the problems today, I am not a reactionary. I would reform these institutions like Social Security. I would reform things like the TVA and maybe change it so that it's just an option amongst many. There are many numerous examples, and I can point to every single one of them being conservative in base. Maybe the only thing North could get me on to say I'm not a conservative is that I'm not a Russian Ortho bro cuck where I'm sitting here pushing out the idea that, I need to make a Christian nation. I'm pushing for a secular with American values and some Christian value nation where we empower the American production, we empower the American consumer by putting more money in their pocket because they can work. He's wanting a society where we are dependent on foreign powers and we are subservient to the world. These are liberal ideas. And once again, I want to point out the only conservative ideal he expanded upon was, 2A. And that's something also the communists and the socialists want. So that's not even really proof of anything. It's outrageous, it's egregious, and it's very sad that they have bamboozled. And I want to point out, I've had several debates with Destiny now, and North parroted every single one of them. Conserving liberalism is not conservatism, and this is why I defined conservatism in the beginning. I want to point this out one more time for the audience. Conserving liberalism is not conservatism, and the argument that we're illiberal is idiotic, because that's not the goal. The goal is to return us to making America great again before the liberals gained power and destroyed us. Thank you.
Holy shit, you talk a lot.
Hey, listen, when you're good, mama.
Hey, I didn't say you were bad. I just said you talk a lot. All right. I do have some panelists who are jumping backstage. If you want to join, the link is in the chat, in the live chat, and you have to hit that back there. I will need a cam up if you haven't been here before or you're not already cammed up. Will need a quick hello backstage, or else you don't get to come play. All right. Tom Carpenter, thank you back there. Tom Carpenter sent the big 30 and said, I'm clinching. Absolutely clinching. I think this was... I don't even know which part this was. I can't remember, but I remember it made me chuckle. Hango Flamio, shout out with the big 5, says, does Gibbs know Trump isn't a conservative? No? Cool, keep him in the dark.
90s Dem, I did say
90s Dem, yeah, I remember that. I don't even think that's kind of like I don't think anybody's in denial of that either, right? I mean, we all recognize...
No, he's not conservative.
Okay. All right, fair enough.
More conservative, 2 options.
True. Christopher with the big 10 said, good stuff, ma'am. I love your working content. Thank you, Christopher. We appreciate you and welcome. Feel free to stop by more often. Tom Carpenter with the 2222. Early start tomorrow. Good night, all. Win Mater Nation. Thank you so much, Tom. We appreciate you, and I hope you sleep well this evening. Let me be frank, who is backstage, comes in with the 11 bones of something, says, open panel, let me kick these Yanks their ass. Fair enough. He also says, psychology is mine. He also says, I would be careful what you guys say. No, we don't have to. We're here in America. We say whatever the fuck we want, as long as it's not outside of the TOS guidelines. Detroit Dabbler says some weird shit. He says, does the winner get a winky rub? Are you offering a trophy, a prize trophy to either of the gentlemen there?
He better be. Dabbler? I want a double Dutch rudder, Winky, with Detroit. I'll make you call it a double Detroit Dabbler. I don't know. Double
Detroit Dabbler. So Detroit Dabbler is offering winky rubs to the winners. Fucking gay. Spin City setting the 15 bones over on the pilled side of things. Saint says North shouldn't speak until he grows facial hair. I do think it's cute, adorable. I have a very big appreciation for our youth who come into these panels and debates, and I think it's beautiful. But they do need to grow some facial hair. Saint also says Newsom is North's spirit animal, and he loves him. I don't know if that's true, but whatever. Alwine says this North kid is a bozo and has no real arguments. Fair enough. Alwine, I think you should jump on stage and come debate that. All right, gentlemen, you're probably both taking a shit right now, but in the meantime, I'm going to get our panelists up here because they've been waiting patiently backstage. And, you know, I want some company. Here we go. Right. Holy shit. Somebody dropped some shit. Welcome back, everyone. Let me get you all back in line here. Holy shit. North over here. Now I got to move everything around. What in the... Because you know why? Because Ben's not here. Clay, then Frank, then Effigy, then Tiberius, then Ant, then Moto. Okay, here we go. All right. Gibbs is taking a shit or something, so we will move it along. But Spin, you are first backstage, and I will allow you the floor here in just a second. Everyone else on the panel, because this is open panel Q&A, we're going to go round robin style. That means everyone else is going to mute their mics except for myself, Gibbs, and North, and the person who is asking the questions. In the meantime, you'll wait your turn, and then you'll be able to chime in. If you are new here, welcome. We're happy to have you. We love new blood. If you are a regular here, I expect you to show everyone else how we operate. And we do, of course, have someone else in the back flipping me off. But I can't see. Oh, that's you, douchebag. I'm just going to ban you because you were doing some douchebag shit the other night and I didn't like it. So we'll just call it a day. And I've kicked you several times and told you to stop. All right. Spin, if you'd like to kick us off with your question, commentary, whatever you want to either of the debaters.
Oh, I'm gonna
turn you
talk
down.
about North. I had to turn it up earlier.
It's all right.
Sorry.
I got you on my end.
Thank you, Sarah. And thank you, Sarah, for letting me up, and thank you for our earlier conversation. It helped a lot.
Good.
Yeah. So I'm very happy. First stream. So, North.
What's up?
I've watched the whole thing beginning to end.
Sure.
There is no way that you are a conservative. No way.
Okay.
You have every liberal talking point. You watch TikTok too much. Stay away from that.
I don't have TikTok on my phone. I can show you if you want.
I really don't care. Maybe you're watching the Communist News Network, whatever. Secondly, you talked about border security. You talked about anchor babies. What?
Is that you just say that I have liberal talking points? That's your
yeah.
Your justification for me not being conservative.
There is no way you're a conservative.
There's no philosophical or like any policy disagreements that you have like with what I've said.
Well, you said.
Is there anything in particular you would point about?
Are you going to let me fucking talk, or are you going to talk?
Sure.
Okay. I'll give you the respect you give me the respect. Okay. So, bottom line, you talked about amnesty. You talked about the border. You talked about the anchor babies and stuff like that. You absolutely lied a little while ago when Gibbs brought up that I don't remember exactly. I think it was about the anchor babies. You completely lied.
Did I?
So in 2024, my first question to you is: in 2024, who did you vote for?
2024, I abstained. Although if I could do it again, I would vote for Kamala.
There you go. You're a liberal. Admit it. It's fine. Okay.
No.
I'm going
objectively
to destroy
voting for
you
Kamala
anyway.
would have been it would have been the conservative position to vote for Kamala.
Dude, how is it a conservative position to let or vote for some cackling hyena?
Do you think the defense of the Constitution is like a conservative position?
Well, it absolutely would be.
Do you think upholding the rule of law is a conservative position?
Absolutely.
Do you think that fighting against corruption is a conservative position?
Sorry, say that again.
Do you think that fighting against corruption is a conservative position?
Well, I believe it's a conservative position, yes, but it should be on both sides of the aisle instead of just one.
Yeah, I agree. It should be on both sides of the aisle. It's kind of sad
on the left
there's
side
one
of the
side of the
aisle
aisle currently, sadly, that is engaging in historic amounts of corruption, historic amounts of.
And which side of the aisle is that?
And
which side of the aisle is that? Which side
that
of
would
the aisle
be
is that?
Donald Trump and all of his cultist followers.
Liberal, Democrat, cuck. That's exactly what you are. That's exactly what you are. Yes.
No, I'm a conservative. I will support
maybe in Canada,
the liberal candidate insofar as the liberal candidate will be the one that will destroy our constitution.
Okay, so tell me
And
why you
sadly,
would.
that was
So tell
Kamala
me
Harris.
why you would vote for Kamala Harris, the laughing, cackling hyena.
Because I think that Kamala Harris would have not done these things like issue executive orders to overturn Supreme Court decisions. I don't think Kamala Harris would have gotten into
Name one.
The overturning of the birthright citizenship with Wonka Mark.
Okay, so you think anybody that I'll use Admiral Gibbs
Would
here
Kamala
for a
Harris
second.
have done that?
So we should. So
wait, hold on.
we
No,
should-
just answer my question. Would Kamala Harris have issued an executive order to overturn a Supreme Court decision?
I would not I will not make a speculation that
Did she
I
run
would
on
not
that?
I believe so.
What was the Supreme Court decision she was going to overturn on with an executive order? I would love to. If I'm wrong, then give me an example, please.
No, I said I will not make an assertion that I do not know to be factual. So I don't know.
Wait, you said that she ran on this, right?
I believe so. Yes. No, that
Wait,
was
why
one of
do
her
you believe
cackling
so?
talking
Under what
points.
basis?
Let me look it up. I don't exactly remember. 2 years ago. The second thing that I have for you is, so you do understand that the United States is a business, right?
It's not, but okay.
It's not a business.
The United States is a government.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Different.
Wall Street.
Sure.
Okay, so
Why do you claim that
the United States is not a business?
Why do you claim so? I'm very curious about this.
How the fuck do you think the United States makes money?
Taxation, mostly.
That's a business, right?
No, it's extraction, right? Like the business, like we have corporations in the United States that compete with each other. And
Wait, how did we make money before income tax?
And all like consumerism and all that, and then we through taxation like extract.
Let me help you.
How did we make money? Hold on, Spin. Hold on, real quick. Interesting thing here. How did we make money before income tax?
Tariff.
That's the answer. It was tariffs. Thank you. Appreciate it. That's a point for Papa.
Yeah, and I would argue
again. You've done nothing but take the big fat L since you've come up here. You don't know history.
A big fat
you
L
probably live in mommy and daddy's basement.
Like objectively speaking, the United States moving from the tariffs funding the majority of our government to the income tax funding the majority of our government has.
Okay, let me ask you something. Does the
more
government pay
effective tax
taxes?
system?
Does the government or any of its subsidiaries, executives, or anything pay taxes?
I'm sure
the answer is yes. They're making money, dumbass.
Yeah. Wait, what do you mean by making money? What's your example of that?
The government is making money.
So let's take UPS for example, right? Like UPS is a corporation and they provide a service, that being like delivering mail.
UPS delivers mail? No, they deliver packages. The USPS delivers mail.
They can deliver.
You uneducated prick. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. That is an example of a corporation like providing value and like creating value. What exactly is the economic?
Okay. Let's go back to the
same way that a corporation is.
Start wrapping up, Spin. Get to the point.
The point is the government is a business. If we are imposing a tariff, that means the government or the United States government is making money. Would you rather have a businessman run a business, or would you rather have some laughing, cackling hyena that would not be respected by any country in there? And would you rather have
I'm glad that we're on
borders?
this talking point. Wrapping this up, I would rather the cackling hyena, because the cackling hyena actually has like a basic understanding of how.
So then admit
works.
that you are not a conservative.
Hold on, do not interrupt me. Remember, this is my show. Thank you.
You're good.
When we're talking about the U.S. government being treated as a business and tariffs as a way for generating money, what you're basically saying is, I want the government to tax more, which is fucking ridiculous. And I don't know how you can maintain yourself as a conservative and then start lauding about, oh my gosh, I love it when Donald Trump increases taxes. Thank you, Donald Trump. This is the
last
this is the
time I
thing where
looked,
I'm
he's
talking about.
lowering
These
taxes.
people
Sarah,
are
I'll
conservative.
yield.
What they are is they are
I'll yield.
pro-tax, and they are gloating over the fact that the United States government
Late to the
is
gauntlet. I'll give
extracting more value out of like the economy. Yes.
All right. Fair enough. Thank you, Spin. Thank you, North. Clay, I'll hand it on over to you, sir.
Very cool. Thank you guys for coming up. An interesting but hard to follow debate for sure. Some conservative infighting, I guess. If you guys want to call yourself conservative liberal, I'm going to take you at your word. So if you're a registered Republican, I'm going to assume that you're part of the Republican Party. Same thing with the Democratic Party, any other party, right?
Well, that's the problem, Clay. That's the whole reason we're having this panel, is because people like you, and this is not a bash, this is the people in general, will believe that people, hey, they're going to trusting people. They're going to take you at your word. You're conservative. This is a nefarious tactic that the Democrats and the DGG and all them use. It's called controlled opposition. You might want to check this out. It's very important. You're an intelligent guy. You like to read. And I would check out the idea of controlled opposition. That's what North is here today. He's a liberal masquerading as conservative. So normal people go, oh, these policies don't sound so bad. That guy's conservative. He thinks it's all right. That's why this is so dangerous.
I understand.
Is that how controlled opposition works? Why does Destiny need controlled opposition when his ops are as retarded as you, Gibbs? That's what I don't understand.
I mean, listen, you say that, and yet I'm the one with the history and the multiple degrees, and you're the one with the divide degree. I don't know if I'm the retarded one here, brother.
Yeah,
good try, though.
Clay's intro has been thoroughly corrupted at this point.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I would
Sorry about
100% agree. Thank you, Ty. So I did want to touch on something that you mentioned while you guys were talking about the Dred Scott decision, and it wasn't anything really to do with the Dred Scott decision, but Gibbs, you said that conservatism is about progress toward change. Now, I recognize that as progressivism. That's literally the definition of progressivism. That is what you claimed. Can you explain to me what you meant? Maybe you misspoke.
Yeah, if you took that as what I said, then I guess I misspoke. But my wager would be maybe you spoke the good. You spoke the good Doty, and I want your drug dealer's number, because that's not what I said. I definitely laid out exactly what conservatism is multiple times, which is gradual change where you adhere to the traditions and the societal norms over time. This is what, like, a thing I've gone over. Example.
Progressivism.
No, progressivism is not what I'm talking about. I got to be honest.
Gradual change.
No, hold on.
Change over time.
This is Clay. This is the same thing as when you told me social means socialism. That is not what social means. I'm sorry. You are just outright wrong here. I got to be honest. This is why North's laughing, because even he knows you sound retarded. I'm not trying to be a dick, but
Okay.
No,
hold on.
You say I'm wrong. I'm going to read what I actually pulled up, which is to explain the difference to someone who defines conservatism as gradual progress. Point out that while both favor slow change, they are driving in opposite directions. Conservatism focuses on preserving past orders, while gradual progress focuses on reforming for future equality. However, that's not what you stated. You stated that you're going to go by societal norms. Do you understand the problem here? Societal norms is not the past. That's the future. You see how you're not a conservative in this?
Clay, how's a norm established?
It's literally what I'm reading off of the phone, bro. Like, what are you doing?
Clay, why do you think North is laughing at you right now?
Oh, God.
I have no idea why he's laughing, but he might not be laughing at me. He might be laughing at you. Did you ever think about that?
No, I'm laughing at you, Clay. I'm sorry.
Well, then, okay, explain to me, North, because Gibbs thinks you're laughing at me, and you obviously say you're laughing at me.
Conservatism does not mean that, like, there is no... I don't know what you're thinking the definition of conservatism is, but it does not mean no change.
I'm not thinking it's anything, bro. I'm just reading it according to
look
what essentially this is going to go by the conservative norm.
Understanding of current
you just get to pick up definitions.
Current
I got you.
Culture,
no, you do this. I got you.
Traditions.
I'll tell you what. If I'm wrong, I'll give it to you. I have more to get to.
Hold on. Let North respond. Hold on. You made a claim. Let North respond to it at the very least.
Notice I'm letting my opposition answer because it's so ludicrous.
Okay,
to play
Half
me.
hour later, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, so it is an understanding of like institutions, it's an understanding of norms, it's an understanding of culture, understanding of traditions, it's an understanding of all these things, and then to advocate for them when they are doing good for society. But then, more perfect union. Sometimes things aren't the best; they could be slightly better, and we can do very minor changes in our governmental system to make things better. I think that is what it is to be a conservative. It is not to be constantly in one state. It's not like America peaked in like the 1950s and we should always like be in the 1950s, or America peaked in 1776 and any law passed after 1776 has been like a travesty. There are things that we can advocate for that are change, and that doesn't mean that we have to be like progressives in which we throw the baby out with the bathwater. These changes can just be very minor and still be very effective by being very minor.
Half hour later, thank you. Anyway,
Also, Clay, I answered everything with historical precedent.
Hold on.
Goddamn,
Gibbs.
dude, you just
Hold on.
okay.
Gibbs. Go ahead, Clay.
Okay, the McDonald-Laurier Institute obviously agrees with me. However, they do not agree with you. So I'm going to go with what the actual institutions say, and I'm going to continue on with my other questions. I don't know. I don't know why you guys are retarded, but hey, you're just internet personalities, right? So I'm going to ask Gibbs on this because, like, you guys really believe that power, when it goes to like the buck stops here, that's like the presidency for some reason. Think maybe even possibly the legislation. I don't understand why you actually believe that, because at the end of the day, this is what you guys have been arguing about the whole time. So I don't understand why it is that you do that. Why it is that you need to interrupt when I'm actually getting into a point even, right? You guys clearly think that your elected officials are like the last stop. The Supreme Court is, okay? And the reason I'm getting into this is because when it comes to conservatism, I don't believe that either one of you are conservatives. I believe you're both retards. Because when it comes to the Supreme Court decisions, it's always the conservatives that are taking individual liberties away from us. And I could go down the list. I mean, good God, man, I got a long ass fucking list. Woo.
Wait, so hold on. Just in your own speech there, if you're a conservative and you're taking power away from you, you just call them conservatives. So even by your own word choices,
yeah, because it's conservative according to
the
Constitution, right? The original Constitution. Yeah, because we're going to go by the law, okay? Dred Scott decision, Plessy versus Ferguson, Korematsu v. United States, Buck v. Bell. Let's do keep going, right? Pearson versus Ray.
Clay, who did you vote for?
Hine versus North. I don't talk about that, bro. Like you are a moron who literally goes out there and tells everybody all your personal information. I'm not that guy. Hine versus North Carolina. Hold on.
Yeah,
I'm going to go down them real quick. I'm going to go down them real quick if you shut the fuck up. Terry v. Ohio. Hoffa v. United States. Miranda v. Arizona. Preserving board federal power. Right? This is Earl Warren was one of the biggest loser conservatives on the Supreme Court, taking extreme power for the government away from us as our individual liberty conserved by what should have been our rights, but they want conservation on the power of the United States government. You do not know what the fuck you're talking about. Neither one of you. You do not know what the fuck you're talking about. You think that the buck stops at the presidency or maybe some legislative decision. That is not where it stops. It stops at the Supreme Court. Now, if you examine the Supreme Court, and this is why I hate having political conversations, you have absolutely no idea what the Supreme Court has done to take our individual liberties, and you don't fight for that. What you fight for is your own little personal gain for your little farm with your little fucking cattle out there running around, you know, and hey, look, that's cool. That's cool. You can do that, but neither one of you are conservatives in the sense of the Bill of Rights. I'm just going to let you know that. Neither one of you.
Just real quick. I mean, because I think North's going to probably laugh at this real quick because you keep talking about the Supreme Court being the buck stops there. That's cool. I might not even disagree. What established the power of judicial review? Was it Marbury versus Madison?
Yeah.
It was.
An illegal framing for a power grab
Okay,
by
and
the
so
Supreme Court. Yeah.
interesting. And so in the Constitution, before Marbury versus Madison happened, can you tell me exactly in the Constitution where it lays out every specific power of the judiciary branch? No, you can't, because it doesn't fucking exist. That's why I'm sitting here saying you have some basic guidelines, goddammit, but you just don't know history.
Hold on. You believe the Constitution doesn't lay out what powers that the different branches have?
It does. It does.
Oh, so you just confused your whole fucking argument. You stupid moron.
I did
Bro,
not.
yes, you did. You said that the Constitution doesn't lay out what the powers of the Supreme Court are.
Who here understood?
So the Supreme Court is the arbiter now of all of the decisions ever to be made for any constitutional power grab, period.
I don't even think my opponent would disagree with what I just said.
Yeah.
Would you disagree with my statement?
You know what I think is going to end up happening? I think the panel is going to end up making Gibbs appreciate North just a little
I
more.
already do. Also, I already messaged him. I DM'd him, and I'll say it again. North came in here. I don't know how many previous debates he's had a one-on-one, but I feel like I'm one of the more egregious ones that are in this space right now. And he stepped in here and he came into a foreign enemy territory, and he let his cojones hang. And I got to be honest, he's sounding about 1,000 times more intelligent than Clay is right now.
Okay, so let me ask you then. How do you feel about Terry versus Ohio? How do you feel about stop and frisk? How do you feel about stop and frisk? You don't like stop and frisk? You're not a conservative. Sure. Okay? You're not a conservative. That was a Supreme Court decision made by a conservative Supreme Court justice,
right?
In majority.
Do you like stop and frisk?
No. Wow. Then you're not conservatives. Nobody in this fucking country knows what the fuck is really going on. This is my problem with you morons.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question, Clay.
You want individual liberty? You want individual liberty?
All right, you're just going to monologue over me?
You want individual liberty? Go ahead. What's more likely?
What's more likely is it that everybody up here all agrees with me and North, and we're all wrong, or
you can all be wrong and still agree. This is not this is nothing new. The whole world can agree to something that's stupid. Yeah. What are you doing?
It's called.
You ever heard of the Come Warriors of Papua New Guinea? That whole culture agrees that shit is okay, but that doesn't make it right.
Doesn't this make Clay doesn't this make
I don't even know how you
isn't that like a libertarian approach though?
Yes, this I don't even know why do you call yourself a conservative if you don't even accept like the common
I don't call myself a conservative.
Then why are you lecturing us? Just
because you don't know your own stupidity.
That's you could go with maybe constitutionalist or a libertarian, but I think a libertarian would be the more bigger piece of the.
I'm not a libertarian either.
Not you. Hold on. Stop. Clay, what you're trying to say to them is like, do you believe in the stop and frisk thing, whatever, that you're not a conservative, right? But that to me would be a libertarian talking point.
No. The libertarians would not like stop and frisk.
I'm a constitutionalist, okay? This is what I would describe myself as. But I will tell you this. I'm just doing with you guys exactly what Omar does with the retard religious freaks.
Well, first of all, to your thing, Sarah, no.
You guys don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Libertarians would hate stop and frisk because it impedes individual liberty.
Right. That would be the person I would think that he would want to talk to more, but not conservatives wouldn't stand on that like ground of like, individual liberty is the utmost biggest piece, right?
I would want to talk to them too, just like I would want to talk to the retard extreme liberalist or liberals, whatever.
Like what I guess my point is that like a conservative wouldn't look at stop and frisk as like this old Hail Mary piece, like a libertarian would, but I don't think a conservative would like die on that hill.
Atwater versus Laga Vista.
Hold on. Most conservatives are not going to like stop and frisk. Like in
Pennsylvania versus Mims.
Right,
but I don't. Versus Mims.
But what he's trying to.
Do you think any judicial ruling is conservatism? Is that what you're trying to say?
That's
no. That's not what I'm saying. I'm telling you that these people who are on the Supreme Court, who are Supreme Court justices, their ideologies stem from conservatism. And they make these decisions based on conservation of what their own Supreme Court values, where they call themselves conservatives. I take you at face value, bro. If you call yourself a progressive, you can call yourself a progressive, but what your values are is what I'm going to look at. So as a group, you guys group together and then become that movement. Guess what I'm going to call you all? Conservatives. This is all of you together. I'm the independent here. I'm the constitutionalist telling you that your people are the ones putting in Terry versus Ohio because you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You're grouping yourself with those same people.
Conservative.
All right. This sounds like a good piece to move on from because now my head's spinning with whatever the fuck he's trying to say. And
yes,
I think
you people.
All right.
You conservatives together.
Okay. All right. Frank, why don't you go ahead and kick off with your question or commentary, please? And welcome back. Welcome back to the channel.
Thank you. Been a long time. So I made a little lecture here. Hold on a second. So look, folks, I'm Dutch, so I apologize if I mispronounce anything. Not kidding. My English is going to be perfect. So, folks, I'm Dutch, and so maybe I'm totally missing something, but your version of American conservatism makes little sense to me. So both of you like to talk about history, tradition, and the founding fathers, yada yada yada, but you only seem interested in history when it supports your argument. The moment history becomes inconvenient, suddenly the history lesson is over. And I'm pretty sure both of you can agree with me, which is fine. You want your small government, essentially, not a big government. You want it involved in schools, libraries, relationships, medical decisions, and their private lives. So you want small government, just small enough to fit inside everybody's home.
I don't want any of those things.
Hold on. You defend free speech until someone says you dislike it. That is what is happening right now. Then suddenly you need a safe space. You condemn identity politics for constantly talking about Christian identity, which I think is bullshit anyways. And rural Americans, do they really think that is the case? Do they really think that the Christian identity of a secular country, while Jesus Christ was born in the Middle East, is that relevant? Do they really think
you're
that?
conflating Christian nationalists with conservatives.
Fair enough. So you call America a Christian nation, even though it continuously is a secular republic with no official religion. Christianity itself.
I'm interrupting here. In this entire debate with me and Gibbs, I don't think we brought up Christianity once in this entire conversation.
Yeah, you did once, hence why.
Why are you bringing this up?
Because you brought it up once.
In what context?
In the context that it's a secular country.
So then why are you saying that we're talking about
I don't think they
neither
of them built their stance on Christianity.
No, fair enough. I'm reading off a text.
Did you write this for like someone else?
Well, no, I'm reading off a text, so I do apologize.
In fact, to co-sign that, the only time I remember us talking about Christianity was in regards to the Treaty of Tripoli, which is Article 11, which was definitive to say we are not a Christian nation. Did that correct? And I feel like that's correct, North. I feel like that's what we thought. That might have been the debate.
I don't know
earlier.
The specifics of the Treaty of Tripoli. I do know,
but they say we're a secular nation. But yeah, that's the only thing. I mean, that might have been that might have been the debate earlier.
I will just freeball it. It's fine.
Yeah.
So Admiral Gibbs, you talk a lot about history, right?
Sure.
Do you know? Because I think I heard you talk about like 8 times or 15 times, if it is not 200, how much you know of history.
I like history.
So since you know so much about history, what is the first friendship pact America ever made?
Probably with France would be my wager.
No, not true.
Okay, but who was the first one?
Morocco.
Okay, that doesn't sound like that might be correct. I don't know. Correct. What is your point here with that? I mean, just because I don't know one random historical fact doesn't disprove any of the other 1,000 facts I used.
Well, I need to laugh at that, by the way, because the tens of thousands of facts that you claim that you made were probably false. Because you say it is a historical fact, you need to cite sources, which you did not. And plus, even that, you say for example, that no, hold on. Angry American actually said that. So let me point that out. That America is essentially a big business, right?
That's not what I said.
No, that is what Angry American said. And that is too north. It is actually true because that is why America got created in the, well, not necessarily created in the first place. But if you have New Amsterdam, and I am Dutch, and it's all about ports. It's all about ports. It only has been about ports. And that is why America cares so much about foreign policy. That is why it is so rich. And that is why it always be that rich. Because the only thing that they care about is ports. It's not about people, their countries. It's about ports. It's always been about maritime law.
What's the point you're making with this?
Waiting for a question.
That he is right. And I think it is really concerning that you as, well, conservatisms, that quote unquote, that you care so much about traditions, right? Do you even know that Santa Claus is a Dutch tradition?
Okay, I don't know what exactly is the point that you're
because you care about traditions.
It seems like
right?
I think you're trying to claim.
I'm not claiming anything, brother.
You're trying to claim that I have some sort of like hypocrisy due to me appealing to historical fact and traditions as part of like conservatism.
Now, what kind of traditions do you value that much? What is really American traditionalism?
I mean, honestly, the whole debate hinges between me and North on like if you want to talk about recent historical precedent or if you want to talk about overall American historical precedent.
Oh, so now we're just being selective.
If you want to get into like traditions, you could say like American traditions of like we celebrate our holidays. I would consider that to be like a tradition.
So Christmas is not a national holiday.
As in like we have you can say traditions in like a different sense in that like we have like a maritime tradition in like the United States in which like due to the fact that we have like two large coasts that's like a significant like sailor population or like a farming tradition here in like the US in which like the idealism of like owning a property out like in the middle of the wilderness is like considered like part of like our national culture or something like that or I mean if you
what does it
like,
even mean? Something like that.
What do you mean?
I think number one, I think
that, like,
Frank,
these are part of like the American identity, and like these are like things we want to preserve as part of
I think Frank is still conflating between conservatives and Christian nationalists in some weird fucking way. And I don't think he's understanding the concept of what there's even a difference between a traditionalist and a conservative. Those are two very stark differences. Even though they sit on the same side, they're still they still like run parallel with each other. And I guess
okay, then please explain that to me. What is the difference between regular traditions and conservative traditions?
Well, a traditional list would be more focal pointed on like a traditional gender roles, for instance, or the typical traditional ways in which our society is operating under. Whereas conservative.
I would disagree. It's about continuity. It's that's like the big thing. Like this is the difference between a conservative and a reactionary is that a reactionary will be appealing to something in the past to go back to, while a conservative will look at like what exists now and advocate for like their defense, or if we believe that like what exists in like we look at like why it existed in the past, why it exists today, how it's developed over time, and then you advocate for its continuity in the future, or if you feel like it's insufficient, you advocate for mild reform into the future. That is what should be like philosophical conservatism. Now, that is applied a little bit more specifically in the United States. With
what Donald Trump is essentially
policy. Well, Donald Trump is not a conservative, and no one here would ever say that Donald Trump is a conservative.
Yeah, but he was the more conservative of the two options.
Is he not adjusting the tradition?
He's not adjusting. He's outright destroying those institutions, and it's mainly like the institutions are like the main thing that I'm concerned about.
Then what would you think would be the perfect middle ground? What would you consider, Admiral, what would you consider, what would be the perfect middle ground? What would need to be changed in the Constitution that would be
first
conservative?
I want to reject the idea that all institutions need to stay to be in order is a conservative standpoint, right? Like, and here's a standard conservative talking point. We want to abolish the ATF. That's a normal conservative standpoint that many conservatives across the nation have, right? That's an institution, right? That's something that's been here for a significant period of time, right? Now, I don't even think North would argue that that is not a conservative position, right? So when I'm sitting here saying this about abolishing things, and like going back, I'm talking about going back to things that are established norms with historical precedent, going further back than just like, since the 1950s. I'm talking about the entirety of the American history because this matters. That's not going back to some unknown time. I'm saying when you look at time scale, 100 years is not that big of a time scale. We need to look at the body of American politics, and that's the important part here.
So how far? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I just said the body of American politics.
Like, I agree in the idea of like abolishing like the ATF, but when we're talking about like understanding like why institutions exist and advocating for like they're like advocating for mild reform, like you can have like a mild reform version of abolishing the ATF. That is, if there needs to be some sort of regulation on alcohol, tobacco, and firearms, it shouldn't be on one weird specific agency that's like very hyper materialistic and infringing on American individual rights. Like if you want to regulate alcohol, have that with the FDA. That's the same with like tobacco too. Or if you want to like regulate firearms, you don't need a dedicated federal agency for that, if at all. Like there are things you can do. Like when we say like abolish the ATF, that does not mean like get rid of all of these regulations. Although with firearm regulations, you could argue that I might be a little bit more in favor of that. But
that would still be a talking point, right? Like abolish the ATF really means abolish them.
Yes, but like there's the surface level of like abolish the ATF as like a talking point versus like the conservative philosophical position like behind it. Like
I'll actually back him up on this one. So I'm pretty anti-ATF. I'm a Texan. We fucking hate the government, right? I'll back him up on this one. You know, and it's like when I say abolish the ATF, I don't mean like abolish everything they do. I mean get rid of this organization that basically works as secret police and put like the power either the DEA or the FDA or like other organizations, and then we restructure what that means because of what they've done before previously and like when it comes to gun laws. I don't necessarily mean like, we abolished it, we don't have a black hole. Just like when we're talking about immigration, they didn't make a new they just expanded an existing agency. They didn't take an agency out of nowhere and just put it in there, right? Like this is a key thing. They're using this within the institution. And this is where I fundamentally disagree with North, is what those institutions are and how they're supposed to be used. Like that's the crux of our disagreement, or one of the major cruxes.
Then how should they be used?
Well, that was what the whole debate was about, really. I don't know if you were watching, but we just had 2 hours about that.
Yeah, that's where that. And Frank, to be fair, like I even sat there and said, like, we need to figure out where our metric is because we're getting into these policy details and we're seeing the split. Okay. So why is that metric there? But let's move on to FAG. FAG, I know you want to probably just yell at both of them and call them retarded. So go ahead.
Yeah, I'm mostly here just to point and laugh at all the conservatives calling each other liberals. I'm on North's side on this. I think everything that North has said is traditional conservative stuff. I don't think it's liberal at all, a lot of what he's saying, but it is very traditional conservative stuff, especially what he just said as far as emphasizing institutional continuity, restraint, traditional norms, procedural propriety, and respect for established democratic institutions. Gibbs, I'm pretty sure you consider yourself a MAGA, right? You sure? Because everything you fucking say sounds like a MAGA.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I branch off from MAGA all the time. There's numerous examples of.
Yeah, but most of the time you're not. You sound just like them. You sound like you're basically saying like you're for a populist revolt against political, judicial intelligence and medieval institutions and stuff like that.
Would you call yourself a liberal or a progressive? What would you define your political ideology?
Liberal. Not a progressive.
And I just want to point out, this is the one that agreed with North the whole time, so I rest my case on that one.
Yes, because the core of America is big L liberal democracy, right? So there is a core that we should be revolving around, and that's why traditional conservatives and traditional liberals, we can actually engage with each other. And we used to be able to do that before the MAGA asshole reactionaries basically took over and redefined the entire party as some crazy whack-ass nationalist shit.
Yeah, the 90s Dems are reactionaries is a crazy take.
The 90s Dems.
Yeah.
Yeah. Surely that's
Tulsi Gabbard. Tulsi Gabbard, famous.
He's a
Famously a right winger.
We know that Donald Trump and Bill Clinton are like exactly this in
They
politics.
actually are. If you want to look at policy overlays, I have videos.
Really? Yeah, let's go do it.
Sure. Okay.
Gibbs,
What do you think Bill Clinton's border policy was?
Sucking dick.
I was going to say, if she's pretty, she can kill you. I mean, I don't know.
Hey, listen, that's a great policy, honestly, but that's not what his policy was. His was similar to Trump's. Very similar, in fact. There's a reason why they call, Obama the porter in chief. He was securing these things. Now, did he really deport people? That's a whole different question.
Wait. Clinton tried to get rid of birthright citizenship with an executive order?
Oh, yeah, actually, why don't you look up Clinton's takes on birthright citizenship?
I'm sorry, is that what I asked?
Yeah, why don't you? Well, I mean, I don't know if he tried to get rid of it with an executive order. I do know what his public speaking persona said, at least about birthright citizenship. You want me to read a direct quote from Clinton about birthright citizenship?
I mean, you can certainly, if he has an opinion on birthright citizenship, he can have that opinion. I'm going to disagree with it.
Here, we can get into that in a little bit. I'm going to be quick because I'm going to let the rest of the actual people go, because I'm I said, I'm just here to point and laugh.
Before you continue, I just want to make something clear. Even though you agree with what I've said, that doesn't mean that you agree, as in like you adopt all of my policies.
Oh no, not at all. Politically, I disagree with your positions, but I agree with your framing of this is what traditional conservatism is. Yes.
Okay. Yes. Thank you.
I don't agree that it's what I agree with politically. No, not at all. I don't agree with any of that shit. But yes, you are espousing traditional conservative values. Gibbs, one of the things you said over and over and over and over tonight is
it's the liberals saying this, guys.
Yeah, it is. Over and over tonight, you kept making arguments from tradition over and over and over. An argument from tradition is a logical fallacy. You're not actually making any kind of argument. And so let me show you why that's a piece of shit argument. So you're basically, every single time you brought this up, you were just basically saying, if America had this policy in the past, therefore it's American as apple pie. That's exactly what you were saying. So by your logic right there, is slavery as American as apple pie?
Apple pie is not American.
One, I would argue that slavery falls under capitalism, and capitalism is American as apple pie. Two, I like whether or not it's a moral upstanding.
Well, then you see why it's a shit metric, right?
Hey, well, listen,
you're not espousing anything that's good about it. You're not showing why it's economically feasible. You're not even showing why it has a moral right behind it. You're just justification for an adjective that you're sticking in front of it. That's it.
I see. Well, this is what we call cope. Once again, like I want to point out.
No. This is not cope.
It's very simple. There's a reason why the liberals agree with North.
Gibbs, I know your side job is that you're a fucking carnival barker, but turn it off for 5 seconds.
I mean, I don't have to turn it off. I'm just speaking straight up fact right now. There's a reason. Once again, like I said,
I don't know if you said a fact this entire night.
I've literally only said facts. It's crazy that you're disagreeing. I mean,
and this is where we know that you're a MAGA, because you constantly claim to have all the truth. But you're sitting there fucking just dropping lies like bombs.
And yet I'm the one who provided historical precedent, historical fact every single time we went to this. I mean, you can say what you want, but everything I said is verifiable by multiple history books, by just the fact of it. That's what happened. And you're just
because something happened in history doesn't mean it has a weight of value now of anything. That's all you said tonight was like, this happened, therefore it's historically American.
Oh, it happened. Hold on. The whole argument about conservatism is valuing tradition, which you said doesn't matter. What? That's a crazy liberal take. And then secondly, once again, you're denying these things happened. Once again, I'm saying they did happen.
Wait, what did I deny happened?
These are shit. Well, you just said all these weren't facts. And I just kept saying, so that means if they're not facts, then they didn't happen, because these are things that happened. So you're denying history. And three, once again, what I said with these facts that I stated over and over again is I was establishing historical legal precedent for the institution, for the policies that I wanted. This is what conservatism is: valuing historical traditions and policies that move forward gradually. And once again, this is why, and I know that North is a little confused about this, why the Monroe Doctrine is an extension of the Monroe Doctrine. Every single time I can show how A went to B went to C.
Are you saying that just because they rhyme?
No, brother. I'm saying that it's only an extension. I mean, is that the level of intelligence that we're going? That you think because they
that's what I'm asking you right now in this moment.
What's interesting is, once again, you're not
literally say different things. I'm done. Yeah, you can go ahead,
Sarah. I just want to point real quick. Effigy, once again, he can make this joke, and that's a good one about the rhyming thing. However, I laid out very clearly how they're interconnected and how they lead to this. Now, if you don't understand that, that's on you. But hey, I can't help that.
Two completely different contexts, and you're just trying to smush them together. like a kid smushing Play-Doh.
True.
Sounds
You know what?
lovely.
I'm good.
Let's move on to Tiberius. Tiberius, I'm interested which direction you're going, sir.
I can't save you here, Sarah. This one shot. But yeah, I came in to chat with Gibbs about this because we've gone a couple of rounds and I wanted to see him without his raging hate boner for Connor. So I was trying.
It's very strong. You want to see his Tinder profiles? I found some good ones.
I don't care,
Oh
dude.
God.
The fact that you bothered to look says a lot about you, though, Gibbs. Thank you for doing that. Anyway, yeah, I was largely going to take up the thing of Burke was pretty cool. It's a doctrine. It's not an ideology. Like conservatism could be useful for something. Now, if people want to have an ideology for it where it has to be X, Y, and Z thing, by all means, go for it. I'm not in that popular movement. It's lost me. I get disowned by MAGA all the time. I get disowned by the average Republican all the time. That's cool. But yeah, wherever it comes to is that I don't recognize conservatives anymore. They are alien to me now, and I can't get on board with about half of their shit. They're as bad as Democrats to me. You guys are having that hard of a time selling me that you're better than the other team, which is just fucking amazing. But we're there. Yeah, I don't know where to take this, to be completely honest. I wish I could take it somewhere constructive, but I'm not really impressed with what I've seen so far.
Your comments intrigue me. Where are you on the political spectrum?
I would actually consider myself a Burking conservative. I think our best presidents by far were Ike and Teddy.
Okay.
So that's my general take. I liked how you were doing the nomenclature. Like I went to school for this shit, so like I definitely picked up what you were laying down. I didn't really care for the presentation, but yeah, like conservatism as a doctrine, that's the team I'm on. Like this needs to be something that's flexible, that can move along with the times and not be stuck in the ravages of traditionalism. I don't like that shit. It's bad juju. But yeah, I'll let you guys have at it.
You said something. First of all, you like my definition of Burking conservative? Not Conrad.
I don't think that's appearing on full screen, Gibbs.
I didn't.
Well, you can, yeah, thank you.
Sure, man. It works for me. As you all know, I am retarded and a sellout. So you know,
yeah, that's fine. I know. So here, but you did say something interesting just now.
Yeah, go for it.
Which is that he granted that what I'm doing is pushing traditionalism, which is a founding principle of conservatism.
I reject this personally. One of the founding traditionalisms, at least by Burke, and I think he was right, it's stability and it's order. We're trying to make sure that our systems and our institutions work, and they stay working. Sometimes that means rejecting the new ideas because they're shit and they're terrible and they can fuck off. And sometimes it's embracing new ideas because, yes, we do need to adopt computers in the 21st century.
Let me just play with this a little bit. All right. So
go for it, man.
First, Burke is from where? He's from what, Ireland? Yeah, right.
I mean, he is Irish. But
yeah,
yes,
let me just play this idea a little bit more. All right, so you would agree John Locke is another person that's a important person in American like original political thought, correct?
Western political thought, sure.
Yeah, but like specifically, you know, when we look at like I don't know, life, liberty, pursuit of happiness, you know, he had something similar when it was a property, correct?
Sure.
Okay, so you would agree though that the fact that we've changed that and made it is something that America's done many times, where we've taken historical ideas and changed them to American ideals, and America, as we've been told many, many times, is a unique creation in the world, right? We're the shining beacon on the hill, correct?
I agree with this in part. I want to get into details here, but I'll try to keep this clear. We are unique. We are one of the most pluralistic identities in history, which we don't usually hold together very well.
Sure.
This is why we have such different ideas of not only what conservatism is, but what is American. And this is why the right and left hate each other now, because we don't agree on what it is.
Following with that thought, though.
Yeah, I'm listening.
So if we go with Burke is an Irishman, and Locke is, I don't know if he's French or British, whichever he was, but it's been a while. But pretty sure he's British. Yeah, thank you. But my point is, though, there's a reason why we don't look back and say the Magna Carta is an American founding document, and we point to the Declaration of Independence, and then we point to the Constitution after the Articles of Confederation, because one thing that America does is we make our own unique things. So whenever you say you're a Burkean conservative, that means you're not an American conservative. That means you are a foreign foreign born influence kind of guy, right? You want the foreign powers to influence over America. And what I'm proposing is American conservatism based in American tradition and American political tradition. You know what? I would even be willing to grant you all the way back to Jamestown and some of those ideas if you wanted to, or we could go back to Spain if you want to go really further. But we have to talk about things that happened on the American continent, because what's happened here is a unique political experience. Would you disagree?
I don't disagree that we have a unique American experience, but what I do disagree with, and I find highly questionable here, is why did you make conservatism so rigid? Why are you trying to make it where we only take in American ideas? This seems incredibly exclusionary. Like, if other conservatives advance the cause, why would you not take on their ideas as well?
Because, and I think that you're going to laugh when I tell you this, because I'm an America first kind of guy. It's really that simple. I'm not worried about, no offense to our friend Frank down here. I don't care what the Dutch conservatives think. That's a very different form of Dutch conservatism they like to ours. That's why a liberal or a left-leaning individual in Europe is going to be drastically different, or even more far left than, say, an American lefty, right? Or in some regards, right? So when I'm not all the time, but a lot of the times, right? So when I'm talking about these things, sure,
our left is your right.
Well, my point still stands. The point is they're very different from like what we're talking about. They're very like, if whatever the far left on the spectrum is that's going to be like, or the whatever is going to be further than what the American idea is. They're going to be much more okay with socialist policies, right? Like universal health care compared to like Americans and these things. So when I want to talk about putting things through an American lens, this is why I keep coming back to American history. Right, and American examples. And I think that's important. And it's not that it's rigid. It's that we're trying to define conservatism. As Mr. Frank just pointed out just now, it's a very different thing over there. So if we're going to define conservatism in America, we have to use the American version, not the overseas version.
Okay. On one level, I definitely respect the national pride. You're wanting to, use our very unique experience to inform our opinion. And there's nothing wrong with that. On the other side is that this sounds like this is turning the ideology into tunnel vision, is that we're going to ignore so much of what our greater world is, and incorporating these ideas into something useful. Now, sure. I will 1,000% to buy that an American conservative is not a German conservative, is not a Russian conservative. But between all of them, where you have people who make us look left-wing, like the Russians, versus other people who make us look right-wing, like the Germans, there's a lot to learn in that. There's a lot to learn between the CDU of Germany versus our Republican Party. And if they have some good ideas that makes it where it's like, hey, they won on this election, there's nothing wrong with having the conversation, at least, of saying, hey, Gibbs, the Germans did this and it worked. Let's do it too.
Let me ask you one more thing. This is a little bit off topic, but I think I would just like this answer because it'd be interesting. It's real fast, Tiberius. You would agree that, say, let's just use conservatism, for example. Conservatism existed before we defined it, right? Right, you would say
maybe.
Okay, so there would be like
very metaphysical question.
Well, hold on, Noah. This is actually not for our debate. Just out of curiosity, you'll see why. And Tiberius will get it in a second. Why when I say this?
I think I know where you're going with this.
You would agree that like Rome, there was a viewpoint that there was a conservative. There was a viewpoint in that I don't know Athens where they had people that were
sure. It's like Cato was probably a conservative in some regard,
okay,
right?
Cool. So Tiberius is at least more intelligent than Connor, because Connor doesn't believe conservatism exists before that. So I'm glad that Tiberius is here and not Connor, because we actually can have an intelligent conversation.
You're welcome, Gibbs.
And I will never miss a shot at Connor. Fuck that puto. Sorry.
Fair enough. Tiberius, was that it? So I'll move on.
I'm good. I don't want to overly monopolize time, but if anyone wants to spar off with me, by all means, we can have at it.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
and let's
type your Discord in the side chat. I want to contact you.
I got you.
Ant, if you want to go ahead and kick off.
Thanks, Sarah, and thanks for having me up. Johnny is right. Gives you don't want us using ideas that didn't come from Americans, America first sort of thing.
Well, I think that it's important when we talk about like what is a conservative traditional value in America, that we use the American ideals to set that standard. I'm not saying that we exclusively use them, although I know that's kind of what it sounds like when I was talking to Tiberius. However, there is a value in saying this is where these things come from, et cetera, et cetera. However, when we want to examine the institutions that are in America, we have to look at them through an American lens as opposed to a worldwide lens.
Okay, but when you're talking about a process or a concept. Like, it really doesn't matter where it comes from. If it works, it works. And if it works better than what you're using, why wouldn't you adopt the thing that works better?
Would you agree that manifest destiny as a concept is drastically different than Russian imperialism?
Probably.
Oh, see, then that's why it matters.
But I don't think you're understanding. Let me illustrate. Okay. If we had to do all of our work in the United States staying on one leg, okay, but over in China, they do all their work sitting on two legs, and they're getting more work done faster and more efficiently. Why would we continue working on one leg?
Well, that's the same reason that, we talk about using the metric system, but we use feet, and we put people on the moon first before anybody else. I'm just saying.
We used the metric system to put people on the moon.
Listen, not everything. There's a reason why
we use
producers and do these things. We have all sorts of examples of all the American badassery that we've done. We won World War II not using the metric system. All these different examples throughout history, and this is a perfect example because we don't use kilometers, we use miles, don't we?
So what? That doesn't.
So that doesn't that we have a unique
matter.
purpose.
It doesn't mean we have to. I didn't say we had to use every one idea. But in fact, since you want to bring up the metric system in science, even in this country, we use the metric system.
Maybe. Sometimes.
Yes. No, that's a fact. You
Sure.
can.
I'm not.
Wait,
Listen,
Gibbs,
I'm not.
do you think that we shouldn't adopt things that are like un-American?
No, I'm not saying that.
Well, I don't think we should adopt things that are un-American. I'm just saying, just because an idea came from.
I know that's not
that's
what you
right.
meant,
But by things that are like not made
not
in
American origin. Yeah, absolutely.
Sure.
And a prime example of this, and I'm about to piss off some people right here, is the deal with Israel where we get all of their domestic shit and all the joint shit is ours, but they don't get any of our top tier operating system. That is a prime example. We take their shit, they get nothing. Another example, and this is actually one that I disagree with Trump on, is what they used to call the Mensa immigration policies, right? Where we would brain drain other countries and we get them here, and then we changed it to H-1B visas, and that has not worked out the way we had hoped. But yes, I actually think there are some policies where we should be taking the best shit from other countries, but that's because I want to fuel the American empire. I want these things for American reasons, not because, they have something best. It's, they have something good. It's time for us to take it.
Well, you're conflating like physical resources with processes and principles and
hold
ideas.
on. You think that Von Braun was good because of his physical presence, or do you think it's because of his?
I don't have a good or evil take on Werner
I'm not
von
saying good or
Braun.
evil, but I mean, let's just say he did help build the American NASA rocketry program.
He did.
Right.
But he was also a Nazi.
Regardless, okay. Same with the guy. I think it's Shinobi, or whatever the guy is from the Japanese medical thing. He's one of the founders. of
Unit 731.
Yeah, Unit 731. Yeah, that guy. He is one of the most evil people in history. Yet he also contributed.
Will
a lot
not defend
to
anybody
science.
in Unit 731.
Sure, but I'm not arguing for their evil or good. I'm arguing that these people contributed because we took them from these countries. Correct?
We didn't take anyone from Project 731. They got to stay in Japan.
Brother, he's one of the founding pharmaceutical people.
Yes, but he didn't. He wasn't part of Operation Paperclip.
Hold on, I'm pretty sure you're wrong. But that's
I'm pretty
fine.
sure the only thing we did with 731 was
We did benefit from them, but we never took them out of Japan. They stayed in Japan. We did use them in a capacity, but not here in the United States.
Yeah, it looks like we did grab him. It says under at least this Grok, this AI search says that he was a part of it. I mean, I don't know.
No, maybe they grabbed him, but for most of the people involved with Unit 731, they didn't leave Japan.
Yeah, Ishii is his name, and he got safety from war times, and he was able to come over here and found one of the first.
So he was one of the ones that actually just got full immunity, which several of them did. They did not suffer like the people who did the atrocities in Europe for the Nazis.
Hell, most of them got out of it.
Yeah, you don't think that we would have took Mangala in if we had gotten to him before Mossad did?
I don't know.
I mean, it's probably not Mossad. It's probably whatever it was the precursor, but sure.
No, it was Mossad.
Okay, cool. Yeah, see, I knew it was one of the Israeli programs, but yeah, we probably would have took him if we'd got him.
Maybe. I mean,
I doubt that.
I mean,
there's no value.
It's entirely speculative either way. So,
I mean, regardless, we definitely taken other people with Operation Paperclip. The point is, yeah, we framed it.
I'm a little bit confused here. What is the contention?
Yeah,
That's what I'm trying to understand too.
Yeah.
You keep bringing up these things.
Gibbs was saying that like, all these European things are cringe, and we can do all this for like without the European things. And now he's like, oh, actually, there are some European things that are good. So I'm confused. At, like, what is Gibbs' position, and then like what is Godant's position, and then
my original question, the illustration I made was like, if we can find a country doing something better than we are doing it, why wouldn't we adopt the idea simply because it wasn't American?
I don't have a problem using countries as a test case and then scaling it up to America and see if it works. That's not the issue. The issue that I'm saying here is, one, all these under Operation Paperclip fall under American imperialism. We went in there and took these bastards and said, hey, if you don't like it, too bad. You know, we're going to give them immunity. We're saving them from Russia. We don't want the Russians to have them. We're keeping them, right? That's kind of under American imperialism. The other issue I have right here with the other point is that I'm arguing for, I want an American lens. I want an American traditions to be upheld. I want things like Manifest Destiny to be upheld. I want other traditions that are American. I want these, like the executive branch doing these things. This is a tradition. These are things that are conservatives done from time immemorial in the United States. I'm arguing for the norms, not just liberal norms that have occurred since World War II, but the norms of American politics as a whole.
By the way, it wasn't Mengele, it was Eichmann.
Okay.
Well, yeah,
but
Mengele died. I think he drowned or something.
I don't know why we're getting into war atrocities. It wasn't really the point. I don't know why you brought them up. What I wanted to get to you so you're willing to admit, like, we can adopt good processes and ideas from other countries, but then why can't we apply that same principle to things like republics, democracies, government systems? Like, you want to criticize somebody for being a Burkean?
Because this is the exact point. Because despite what North says, I'm not a reactionary. Reactionary would be going back to pre-America to get Burkean ideas. I'm advocating for American ideas, actual conservatism. That's what I'm arguing for.
But if someone has better ideas, you admitted that we should.
So you would agree that if we went back to a time before America to Burke, that would be
no, that's not what I'm saying at all. I'm not talking about Burke. I just use as an example. You're criticizing somebody because the ideas weren't American.
Right. But I'm arguing that Burke.
But that doesn't, we just established that doesn't matter. Where the ideas come from doesn't matter if they are good, tested ideas.
Yeah, but what we're arguing about is the framing of conservatism in America, right? Do you understand? Yeah. So
I find labels useless.
Well, that's unfortunate, considering what the debate is about, is what is a conservative in America. Like, if you're a liberal masquerading as a conservative, so it really doesn't help us to define what a conservative in ancient Athens was. We're talking about what a conservative in America is, and through the American lens, this is conservative.
Well, conservatism, progressivism, it's just a matter of deciding who you're going to ignore and who you're going to listen to.
Hold on, if Norway has a great public health care, right, and we adopt that, would that be progressive or would that be conservative?
Well, it's changed, so that'd be more towards progressive, but only in the pure sense of the word, not in the actual sense of what progressivism means in the U.S. today, which is a movement that is very anti-progressive.
What?
Or I should say illiberal.
Yeah, sure, that's different than anti-progressive.
Yeah. It's like I realized everybody said no, they are very progressive, just not in good ways.
Sure, I don't think even North disagrees with that. I mean, the part that is that just because we adopt something within a country, that also doesn't make it conservative. I don't if it's a good policy that fits a conservative doctrine, sure. But if it's something like, I don't know, universal healthcare from Denmark, no, I don't want that shit.
I mean, if it's a good it's a good idea and it's a good policy, why does it matter if it's conservative? See what I'm saying? Like, these labels get in the way.
Well, the reason why
the implementation is like what we're talking about here. Like
that, it's a camaraderie thing. Like, people are basically trying to ID who's on their team and who's passively resistant versus actively resistant,
and who is a plant by the liberals, so they have controlled opposition and don't actually have to engage with conservatives.
Yeah, clearly.
because Democrats are in such a shortage of opposition right now.
Yeah, but no, hold on. Do you disagree that this is a tactic that like the leftists
Gibbs,
use?
why did they need me when you were the perfect straw man for liberals to attack?
Well, that's a good question. I don't know, but it's probably because it's easier to sit here and go, "Hey, you have to use multiple tactics to get everybody right." There are people that maybe find me one way, right? But then there's people that are going to be like, "Oh, this guy says he's conservative. You know what? Maybe if he thinks it's not so bad, then it can't be that bad." Because people, unfortunately, are kind of stupid. As we
Wait, do you think that I'm like more to the right of people like Destiny?
I think you and Destiny are nearly 1-to-1.
What?
Yeah, I mean, and if I really need to rest my case about people being dumb, I mean, socialism is social, and all that other bullshit that happened a few minutes ago. I don't really think I need to elaborate any more than that. We had real-time examples happen on this panel.
All right.
Is that suit a little too tight on you, Gibbs?
No, it's actually really roomy. Very roomy.
Just making sure.
The blood
Probably Gibbs is down to 105 pounds since last January. We're doing real good, baby.
Hey, look, I'm happy for you, but I know how hot it gets in Texas, and you wore in a full piece suit, my friend.
Well, it's also silk, so it's very
special.
Let's thank you, Ant. Let's kick it off to Modox.
Moto's fine. That's fine. Am I coming in good?
You are.
Okay, thank you so much for having me. I'm really only here for Gibbs because I don't even think that Gibbs is a conservative by his own definition, for one. And for two, I can demonstrate how Gibbs is basically carving out every definition of conservatism that doesn't align with MAGAism to say it's a no true Scotsman game all the way down to the bottom. And I think I can demonstrate this with an example. Gibbs, you're pretty familiar with FDR and the New Deal, right?
Sure.
Okay. So you are aware then that in order to get the New Deal policies done, FDR needed to form a supermajority coalition with segregationists, right?
Mm-hmm.
Would you agree with the characterization that the segregationist wing that he had to coalition with were largely the conservative party of America at that time, right?
No. I would say that it could be that case, but I would not say that because I think that the Dems and the KKK just did rebranding, and there was actually no party switch, and that's why they want a.
Did I say Democrats? I'm sorry. Did I say Democrats? I said segregationists.
Okay, and
they were the conservatives, right? Generally speaking.
What party was the segregationist?
I didn't ask about political parties, Gibbs. I don't know why you're doing.
Well, that's convenient because that matters quite a bit here.
No, it doesn't. I asked a very specific question. I asked a very specific question.
You did. I know this is a dishonest tactic, and this is why I brought this up.
It's dishonesty to be specific about your language.
Well, I am being
specific.
That's
dishonesty to you.
Which party was the segregationist in?
I would argue that it was probably the Democrats back then. Yeah,
it wasn't the Democrats. And if my argument is that they never switched,
or the Dixiecrats, rather.
Yeah, sure. And if my argument is they never switched, and they say things like, "Who's going to pick our cotton? Who's going to pick our crops?" And then
I don't know why you're bloviating. I don't know why you're filibustering. Well, I'm sorry. I don't know why you're filibustering. I asked you a very specific question. I would appreciate the respect to give me an honest answer.
I'm giving you respect. I am giving you an honest answer. You just don't.
But you're not answering my question. No, you're not. So you don't think that the segregationists of the New Deal era were like the conservative movement in America? You don't think that?
I would say that that is not an accurate definition of conservative.
You're delusional. Then you're just delusional.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. How about this? For the sake of it, right?
Just you know a lot of conservatives that openly advocate for revolution at all costs.
Yes, MAGA. They had an entire insurrection about it.
I see. An insurrection.
Yeah.
So you're defining January 6th as insurrection?
Yeah. I'm not going to let you pivot away from this. I'm not going to let you pivot away from this.
I'm not pivoting away. I'm just asking for some clarification. And now you're running.
No, you're trying to pivot away from the question that I asked which is about the segregationists that FDR coalitioned with, right?
Yeah, the Democrats, just to be clear.
The segregationists, the conservative movement, right? The conservative movement in America, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. When they agreed to coalition with FDR for the adoption of better healthcare policy, Social Security, all of these things, right? Even if you and they only did it, right? These are the segregationists, right? They only did it because they knew that it would benefit white people, right? But they still agreed with it, right? That would still be, if we grant that they.
Were the
I'm sorry.
separationists like big states' rights guys? Just to be clear, I'm asking.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the Dixiecrats, largely,
well, that's
yeah.
interesting. So let's just compare policy real quick, just for just clarification. Whenever they're telling us right now that we can't use federal law to check voter rolls because of states' rights, which party is that?
You can't, but you can't do that. That would be unconstitutional.
Which party is that though?
That's saying that you can do this. The Republicans.
No.
The Republicans are saying you can do this.
Which one is defending the states' rights position?
Right now, it's the Democrats.
Oh, and so back then when they were defending segregation of states' rights, which party was that?
Because the Democratic Party of today is not the Democratic Party of the New Deal era. No, just because they share the same name does not mean they share the same political. I don't know why you're doing this. I don't know why you're doing this, Gibbs. I don't know why you're doing this. You know about the Great Party Switch when you want to talk about Abraham Lincoln being the chief king Republican for being.
Hold on.
I just deny the Great Party Switch even happened, and then I'm pointing out that the policies didn't change, and you're having a problem with that after you just admitted they're the same.
Was Abraham Lincoln a conservative?
I would say he was conserving the value of equality. So yeah, he was a conservative.
The guy that abolished slavery in America is a conservative, but this is brain rot. This is brain rot.
Hold on. Who were the abolitionists? Weren't they Christian women to start with for the most part?
I mean, the abolition movement had
so the Christian value system. That's a very big part of America.
Wait, you talking about the Christian value system that derived? You're talking about
which is
so dumb.
The conservative thing.
This is so dumb.
It's interesting that the Republican Party's policies haven't changed, and neither of the Democrats. But
no, they haven't. They're still anti-women, anti-abortion, anti-rights, anti-black, anti-brown. Yeah, they're still the same as they've been for the last 60 years. True.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, the Democrats are. They're anti all these things. They hate women.
No, they're not. What?
Yeah, they hate women.
It's projection.
It's not projection. There's a reason.
Do I need to make a bingo card of logical fallacies for you, Gibbs? Do I need to do that just to prove a point?
Do you think that women losing scholarships to like biological men is protecting women?
I'm not doing the what is a woman with you. Okay, I'm not doing that.
I'm just saying. You just said they protect women, and if they're sitting here, and biological men are taking scholarships away from women.
What was the party that pushed to overturn Roe v. Wade, Gibbs?
I mean, because it was bad law. Sure. I mean, once again, that's not protecting women, or that's a law that was bad law. The Supreme Court ruled against.
The point is, Gibbs. You're trying to carve out every definition of conservatism that doesn't align with MAGA because you want to play no true Scotsman and do ideological purity against any quote unquote conservative that finds Trump's behavior abhorrent because you are a cultist. You are a simp. And you were like the other guy said before, you were a carnival barker. This is all a game to you. You said okay. Just a couple of questions, and I'll go because I'm just bored of this now. I just want to put a couple things on the record. You're from Texas, right? You probably live in like Austin, right?
Fuck no, but yeah, sure. I live in like San Antonio, and I have a ranch down south.
Okay, San Antonio, cool. Second question.
I mean, remember the Alamo?
You said you had two.
The Gibbs Hotel has the cannons from across the.
I think I heard you say earlier you had 2 doctorates.
Yeah, they're right behind me.
What are they in?
They're religious doctorates.
From where?
Why does it matter? Where's your doctorate from?
I'm just curious. I didn't claim to have doctorates that I ordered online.
I mean, listen, brother, you can say whatever you want. The point is that I have them and you don't, and that's okay. I also have other diplomas.
Appeal to authority, appeal to what's the fallacy? Man, my bingo card's gonna fill up quick next time. Holy shit!
You're the one appealing to authority. That's not really the point.
No, what authority am I appealing to, Gibbs?
Also, I don't think you'd recognize a seminary school, and that's why I don't go around saying Dr. Gibbs.
I'm from North Carolina. I grew up a stone's throw away from Wesleyan College.
Once again, when I've said this, I've once again said I was a religious doctorate. I haven't shied away. I've never made anybody call me Dr. Gibbs. I've said if you wanted to give me a title, it'd be Reverend, but I'm not too pretentious.
I just don't know why you bring them up in terms of politics when we live in a secular country. Your religious bona fides have no.
Sure, but I brought them up because one, they speak to the historicity of the historic accuracy.
No, they don't. In America. Was America founded as a Christian nation?
I would argue it was either a Christian or deist founded with some influence.
No. That's a very simple yes or no question. Was America founded as a Christian nation?
I would say that whatever the word I'm looking for, we entrenched. And
no is the answer you're looking for.
No, that's the word. Wait, hold on. Are you saying that we didn't put entrenched Western laws, which were based in Christian and deist philosophy? Is that what you're saying?
No, because our legal system. No. No, you're going to let me. Okay, you asked me a question, and I want to answer this one.
Sure.
Our laws, right, are based on some shared moral principle. And now, while I agree that some of that moral principle, right, was honed and derived from Christian teachings, we can arrive at that moral framework without the necessity of religion. That's why the founders all saw fit to unanimously enshrine the secular condition of this country into the very first rule of our Constitution. We are not a Christian nation. We were not founded as a Christian nation.
We weren't.
Even if we were founded by Christians.
Hold on, Moto.
So no, I need you to say that, Gibbs. We were not founded as a Christian nation. I need you to say that.
Hold on. But I don't know if you watched the debate. I absolutely did say that, by the way. I even brought up the Treaty of Tripoli, and we can talk about church.
I'm sorry. You're talking to me right now, not North. You're not. You're talking to me right now, not North. Why are you telling me what you told North? Tell me that. America was not a Christian nation, right?
I would like to finish my point here. This is the point that I'm making with the religious thing. I absolutely agree we're not founded as a Christian nation. However, it does help to understand history and the context of our laws if you have a background in religious doctrine, so you can understand where these come from. I come all the time say that I'm not a practicing preacher, I'm not a practicing reverend, I don't sit here and go to these things, but I do think it helps to understand the religious doctrines and how they led to the creation of the United States today. I'm not saying I absolutely agree we're a secular country, and I'll fight against Christian nationalists that
would you agree?
Totally Christian.
Okay, I'm sorry. The filibuster's done. I'm done with the filibuster.
I mean, you can be done with all you want, but that's the answer to your question.
No, okay, so here's another question then.
Do you disagree with any of that answer?
I don't see how any of it's relevant. So I disagree, agree, and I don't see how any of it's relevant.
Because it's relevant.
So you would say. So I think you would probably say, right? I think you would probably say that this conservative ideal of America that you think that we ought to be emulating is like the founding, right? Like probably like the founding, and then pretty much everything after the Bill of Rights is like, probably bad, right? Or like less conservative. Would you?
That is not what I'm saying at all.
Okay, well, what would you say was the most conservative, like what the conservative ideal of American society was?
Manifest destiny. Let's go with that.
Okay, the time when women couldn't vote, when Black people couldn't vote, when No. Here's the question. Are these American values because they are rooted in American tradition? Because these are American tradition. Even in living memory.
You do realize that manifest destiny is the independent doctrine.
I asked you about, no. You said during this time, and I said during this time, these were the traditions in America.
No, you
during
asked
this
me,
time.
Well, then I misunderstood what you asked me, because you asked me what the idea of an epitome of American value is, and I'm saying manifest destiny is the epitome.
Yeah, and I said during the time of
I'm a conservative. I want gradual change. None of those things are good.
So I have a very simple line of questioning. If you would just stop bloviating on every answer, I can get to it. Okay. Sure. During this time.
Oh my God.
During this time.
Y'all caught that. The Gibbs said he was for a gradual change.
Well, hold on. That is what conservatism
during this time. Right? During this time in America. Okay. During this time in America. During this time in America, you would agree. He knows where I'm going with this, so he's going to keep cutting me off. During this time in America. I'm sorry, during this time in America, would you say that it was part of the American tradition, right? That women couldn't vote, that Black people had less rights, that we treated like Chinese and Irish and like Italian immigrants as like basically slaves. Like this is part of like the American culture at the time, right? You agree with that, yes?
Now I'm going to answer, and you're not going to like the answer. And
it's a yes or no.
No, well, it doesn't matter. I know that this is you know what I do know as a tactic.
Pivot. Answer the question, Gibbs.
I'm going to answer. This is, and then
answer the question, Gibbs.
Listen, you're not. Listen,
you'll either kick me or you'll answer the question.
No, I guess you're going to get kicked because I'm not going to say yes or no, because this is real simple. This is
because it's an easy answer. Because it's an easy answer.
I can do this to you. Has Bob ever sucked a dick? And the answer is yes or no. Like, doesn't matter. The point is, when we're sitting,
it does matter if we're talking about whether or not Bob's a dick sucker. It does matter if he sucked a dick or not.
The point that I'm making here with this is very simple.
Excuse me.
Hold on. When I'm sitting here talking, the point that I'm making once again, and this is, I've said multiple times, it's clear you either watch the debate or you watch the debate selectively. I have stated there are parts of the American.
I don't know why you're talking about the debate. I'm not arguing about the debate. I'm having a conversation with you, Gibbs.
I understand that, yeah, and you're doing a very interesting job of it, to say the least, because you're the conversation.
Very interesting,
I can't imagine what conversation with you like, dude. This is painful because you're not letting me get a word in.
I know it's I know it's painful. I know it's painful when we won't let you just filibuster and ramble with lies and all of your other like talking points and your MAGA bullshit. Yeah, it's frustrating, isn't it? Isn't it?
We're literally losing viewers.
Yeah,
Let Gibbs finish up.
Yeah, the answer is very simple. Yeah, manifest destiny. You know, some of that occurred during times when women couldn't vote, all these other things. Some of it occurred after that, right? There's all sorts of different periods where we have a growth of the American nation. I upheld this as a value that is the epitome of America. I also said, just to type it a few minutes ago, we need to look at things through an American lens. Part of conservatism, as I brought up this, is that change happens gradually over time while we could protect the institutions. So no, I'm not sitting up here upholding the idea that women can't vote or the blacks can't vote. What I am doing is I'm upholding the values that got us here. And when we did change,
but you're appealing.
That was bad, that is good. So I'm not appealing to some fantasy land like, you know, North was saying, or what you're doing, which is trying to pigeonhole me as some sort of racist woman hater.
No, I'm trying to get clarification. I'm trying to get, no, I'm sorry, to be clear, I'm trying to get clarification on which traditions you think, no, I'm trying to get clarification on which tradition you think ought to be upheld and which tradition you ought to be abandoned. So when you talk about manifest destiny, yes, which traditions are we talking about? Would you say conservatism is like trying to carry on a tradition? Which traditions?
I feel like
that's what we're talking about.
You know, and I know that you don't want to talk about the debate, but we went into that in depth. Maybe if you want to go rewind that shit, you're like, listen, I don't want to rehash the entire debate I had.
And if you had answered, then I wouldn't be asking this question, Gibbs.
Well, I mean, listen, just because you don't understand my answer doesn't mean I didn't answer, which is what's happening now.
Gibbs. Hold on. This is an important thing, and we did not resolve this during the debate, even though we did go into it to like a degree. It is, I make the argument of like a continuity of things that like exist today, but we can argue that like manifest destiny and like colonialism in America arguably like stopped existing as like a part of like the American tradition.
After when?
And your goal after World War II?
Yeah, and what have I said the entire time? That is when the liberals were the power, and that has been the downfall of our nation ever since. We've been a steady downfall ever since.
What I mean is
under the libs.
Like, and if we are appealing to traditions that died, and our goal is to like revive them. This is why I call you a reactionary, not conservative.
No, I mean, it's not. Hold on.
Continuity is how are we determining like what are the conservative traditions that we're going to revive? And what are the ones that we're going to remain dead?
A reactionary would be like, I want to go back to slavery. I've never once pushed that forward.
And like manifest destiny, like the thing that we focus on, and not like some other thing that we've decided to like leave in the dirt. And then what standard are we using to determine like these should be preserved? And
because we can see that these ideas still continue through the American system, even despite the liberals' attempts to stop it. There's a reason why the military-industrial complex is so strong. There's a reason why we engaged in proxy wars all throughout the Cold War. These are extensions of American imperialism, whether it's through neo-imperialism, which is a thing. I don't know if you know what that is. Why don't you go Google it? But guess what? That's an extension.
Heard the lefty talking point of neo-imperialism.
Yeah, guess what? That is a talking point. Where does neo-imperialism come from? It comes from imperialism and American colonialism, which was its thing. And so when you're saying I'm being reactionary would be me going back and saying, let's go back to slavery. That's not what I'm doing. Let's go back to kicking women out for voting. There have been many times I've defended women voting on this panel right here. So when you're saying these things, you're painting me as something I'm not. However, what I am doing is I'm showing that there is a clear delineation and it's of where.
But it's not clear, Gibbs. But it's not clear, Gibbs. We're trying to. We're trying to ask you. We're trying to ask you very clearly. We're trying to ask.
I got one more Kraut, and I'm going to give you the ability to make it fast. Then we're going to do super chats. Then we're getting the fuck out of here. Go ahead, Kraut.
All right, yeah, I'll be real quick. The party switch never happened. You're an idiot. Gibbs, you're definitely a conservative, but you're more of a imperial conservative. I know I said that to you before when we talked about terrorists and everything else. And what's your name, North? What's up, bro? Yeah, I'll say you're a conservative because I can't really ask you questions. But the fact that you said you were vote for Harris because you claim Trump has taken away the constitutional rights when she openly stated she would do mandatory gun buybacks is outrageous. And also Biden, before they switched him out, like the snakes they are, he said he wanted to limit free speech. That's all I got, Sarah.
That was beautifully said.
If I send you a video,
Sarah, may I say one thing to North?
No.
I'm gonna send you a video because Darth Thonus is here, and I have a video of Soros saying that he was rounding up other Jews back in the day. So he says that that didn't happen. There's an interview from 60 Minutes. So hey, Darth, whatever your name is, do you remember this argument? I have the actual video of him saying this shit now. Do you want to say that's not a source? Is Soros not a good enough source for Soros? Interesting. Go ahead. Sorry.
All right. To the super chats. Nunny says with the big 5. Oh my God, Moto, I'm losing brain cells trying to follow your dumb ass logic. If it was logical at all, your zombie logic is laughable. Then Nunny also wanted Moto booted. He said, please get his dumb ass in the back. See you, Motor stupid. But we don't even have to worry about that because we're all getting the fuck out of here. North, did you have any final thoughts you wanted to say to the panel?
Yeah, no final thoughts. I think I'd let my thing be presented pretty well. Maybe I could be a little bit more clear with my articulation, but it's all a learning process.
Yeah, no, I thought you guys did great. Gibbs, any final thoughts to the panel?
Yeah, I want to just take a victory lap. That was an unequivocal whooping based in history, based in fact, based in all metrics that we can measure things by. And guys, if you really want proof of this liberalism take, just look at the policies he proposed versus what I did, and the only one that overlapped, which was something the communists proposed. So it's very simple what a conservative is, and it's not our liberal plant North. But I do respect North for coming into enemy territory. So once again, thank you for coming in. Thanks for stepping up. Thanks, Sarah, for hosting. Thank you for everybody joining.
This was very interesting, to say the least. Nothing like some right-on-right violence. All right, I'm rating you all over to Mr. Balderson. Go tell him a hello, send him tomatoes, tell him I love you, and fuck off.
A long time ago, in a YouTube world full of keyboard warriors, many monsters and trolls lurked in the chat rooms. They thrived on arguments amongst each other until one day, a heroine rose from the ashes. She was made from the tears of beta bitches and the sweat of alpha male gym guys. Throughout the centuries, this keyboard warrior princess showed up in many forms. She slayed many demons along the way. By the light of the moon, she led the simp army into battle. Wielding her sword, she fought through the dark forests. With each new era, the monsters evolved. The keyboard warrior princess grew stronger, with new skills to bring them down. The world around her advanced, but so did she. Her heroism became known to society as technology advanced. And with each new generation, she had to learn how to blend in to keep her identity hidden. Now known as the Raging Tomato, this keyboard warrior princess fights for justice in every debate. She fights for freedom, for moderator bias, and she fights for your ability to battle on an open panel for your beliefs. She protects the simp troopers from destruction. She fights to create peace among troll wars. She storms the battle zones without hesitation and leaves the battleground with her pockets full of souls. Are you ready to battle your fellow trolls? Are you ready for a moderator to give you time to talk? Are you ready for justice, peace, and a fair fight? Tune in every Monday night to watch your friends duke out their issues, or join the open panel so that you can fight the good fight and find resolution with your peers.